Can they see eye to eye, chat? Y'all think they can see eye to eye? Cause I don't know, man. I don't know if the OnlyFans demons and the motherfucking the Virgin Marys. I don't know.
Very first escort session, I had this background feeling.
Wait, this
that
how
I
it
was
start?
gross. And then I remember, like, I went through the session and I left, and I was walking down the.
Just chat.
Step forward if you agree. I judged.
Said
the
W
other side.
uptime. Big bro finna hit 1,000 hours. Big lurker on God. Wait, what they asked?
It's hard for me to reckon.
I judged the other side. Oh.
It's hard for me to reconcile, unfortunately, like sex work as like noble or something that it's necessary for society.
Totally understand. But also, one of the oldest professions is sex work. One of the things that almost every human does in the world is sex. So the idea that we actually do this for money isn't too far out of the ordinary, you know? My dad was a pastor. So it's like, understand, I didn't grow up in an idea where like sex work was okay. But I did grow up in an idea where it's like, I want to learn, I want to experiment. And one of the things I wanted to always learn about was what my body does. So like what
So you
what
got
made you
to
decide, what put you in a place
prod
where you
to do
decided,
that?
is it religious? Or
Yeah,
is it-
so it's definitely a Jesus thing. Like, Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and so I totally believe that that part of me is something to be shared intimately with the person I'm choosing to spend my life with.
Can I ask the disagreeers to step forward?
I don't judge you. I just don't understand why you would give people access to your body in that manner, which opens you up to so many more risks with like STDs, pregnancies, all that stuff. I could not do that. That is not me.
Okay, here's a good example for that. So
Okay.
my other job is doing stunts. I light myself on fire. Is there a risk to that?
Yes.
But it is an educated risk because I know exactly what I'm doing and I know how long to burn. And I
This
know
guy
what's
is a
going on.
motherfucking prod
Same
star
with
and
sex
a
work. These
stunt
are
devil
all educated
who
risks
light
that we
theyself
take.
on fire.
That is our job. Our body is what we use for our job, so we take care of it. We get tested. We take care of our health. You know, we are very, very adamant about that.
But I just cannot get on board with our bodies being a product all the time.
But isn't that how every job is? When I was working in retail, my body was a product. I'm lifting heavy things. I'm working in, you know, weird, nasty work conditions.
She's got a
I'm
point
getting
right there,
injured.
chat.
Like every job I've had has required physical labor of my time and body, and I'm required to be there.
We all sell our body, just depends on what part.
I mean, but sexual selling is very different from what I do, which is like working as a nurse in a hospital.
But you're selling your time, your physical ability, your knowledge, and your emotion, because that job is very draining on your mental health. We're doing the same thing, except we're just showing nudity and pleasure. I'm Nathan Bronson. I am 32. I am a sex worker, and almost 100% of that is doing porn. When I was younger, I had girls tell me I was very terrible in bed and I had a small penis. I wanted a challenge. I always liked doing things that not a lot of people can do.
So this nigga, what? This is basically motherfucker how he got his practice off. That's basically what he said. Cause what?
To be able to prove that I can do it. So that's why I got it. Not a lot of people can do. I want to be able to prove that I can do it. So that's why I got it.
You out here trying to prove
Sex
to the
work
girls that
can
said
make
she
the
was
world
motherfucking
a
we
better
get
place.
bad that you can do it. It's crazy.
Better place.
Make the world a better place? Wow.
I'm a prostitute, and I've had so many clients. I had one guy whose wife had died, and he'd only been with her his whole life. And she had just died like a year ago, and he was like, I don't know how to date again. He didn't want to get into the emotional part where he was like interwoven with the new person. And so as baby steps, like he came and saw me as an escort. Or there was another guy who was dying of cancer, and he was like, I'm not in a position where I can get laid on my own, and I don't want to die without experiencing intimacy with another person. And I got to be that for him. And just like last year, I looked him up and I found his obituary. Those encounters are what make the job valuable to me, because like, this is not just like a casual physical experience, right? Like this is
Do she know how? Do she not know how many people are dying on a daily basis? You still ain't tell us how it made the world a better place. Damn, that nigga Bam had 30 at 17.
you're touching somebody's soul, and I am so thankful to have been allowed the opportunity to help women that I've helped. Like that.
Damn.
Sometimes I get the feeling that we save lives. Someone having a bad day, a man might want to be a little violent, but instead, he goes to the strip club, or he watches a little porn, or he, spends time with a provider, and that brings him down,
God,
and it
I
levels
damn
him
near
out.
coulda
He
bet
gets
twice.
that intimacy
I ain't gonna
that
cap.
he's missing.
I have a suspicion that we save
I damn near could have
marriages.
bet twice.
Like, I saw so many husbands who were like, my wife hasn't touched me in 6, 10, 15, 20 years, and like, I need sexual outlet. And like, the fact that they can get it with an escort, like, preserves the marriage. Otherwise, they would leave the wife, and the house and the kids and everything would explode. It's like a controlled release.
They can still leave. The wife can now
so
leave.
I did want
What
to
are you
address
talking
the
about?
idea that you said that you having sex with a husband saved the marriage.
That's a
I don't believe
disagree.
that's even possible. How can adults
exactly.
save a marriage?
Like, my perception is this is like an inadequate Band-Aid to cover a wound that doesn't have another way to heal. And so I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying, yeah, you're correct in your criticism. I would not like to be in a marriage where this was happening without my knowledge. But like, I do suspect that the alternative is the destruction of the marriage.
I'm gonna share something. So
That motherfucker go be
I looked at
destructed either way,
porn when I
bro.
was in 8th grade, and just kind of hearing, it's crazy. I'm getting like a frustration because I'm like, oh man, because it really put me down a bad spiral. And I just started thinking about myself. I started thinking about women really inappropriately. It's because like porn puts this idea in our mind and kind of scares us. I think it scares guys away from actually talking to women.
Yeah, I also want to like
That is
validate
your
the fact
problem.
that pornography
You
like
better
can cause these
learn
effects
how
on
to
people.
talk, my guy.
Like, some people watch porn and they have like a really negative reaction, or like it causes you to feel like this objectification of women that you don't want to experience. And I think it's like really important to like acknowledge that and be like, yeah, maybe some people just shouldn't watch porn. Like, maybe it's bad.
Terrible.
I was watching an interview the other
They
day.
trying to. We trying to see if sex workers and motherfucking, the motherfucking Virgin Marys of the world, can they see eye to eye? Oh, these is 1, 2, and dude right here. These the motherfucking workers. This girl, and dude, and then these the motherfucking Marys of the world.
Angela White, another porn star, and she said this thing that just fucking blew my mind, where she was like, we don't watch Fast and the Furious to learn how to drive. We don't watch porn to learn how to have sex and intimacy. Porn is entertainment.
That's so hard though, because so many people watch
That
it.
shit
If
can
that's
be
the
off the
avenue they
earth.
go
I ain't
towards,
go
that's
cap.
what
I
they're
don't see
gonna
how they
learn
think
from,
that shit
and
is
then
helping the
go
again,
down
world.
a bad
now you're
path.
still splitting that path of like, because we're having sex on camera, it is entertainment.
What would be your solution to be like, if you do have those unsuspecting audiences? Like, is there an advisory? Is there something that says?
No, because it doesn't matter what you do, people are going to find it. Now, what I think,
Horny as hell.
better
folks.
education, better parents, better teaching. Because when it really comes down to it, me doing this job and being chastised for doing something that, as an adult, that I want to do and I want to strive to do better, is a completely different thing.
Yeah, but you gonna get
I'm
talked
Rudy.
about no matter
I'm a
what,
virgin,
so it don't even
and I
matter.
believe sex is a beautiful thing that God made for two people. I view the sex
Said,
industry
why
as
she
something very
naked,
taboo
bro?
and full of
They
people
love
who
their
may
job.
not have had a different choice or thought of a different option to provide themselves a better life.
God cares about our sex lives.
Of course, the motherfucking
I believe
Mary's
that
gonna
God
come
creates
down.
Like, we are all sexual beings. I mean, unless you're asexual, I guess. But sharing that with one person for the rest of my life, like, that is so appealing to me, because then I feel like I can like give my fullest self to them, and I would hope that they want to do the same with me.
I feel like God is involved, and that's why people thought I was crazy when I said, yeah, I want to be actually praying on my first time. People thought I was crazy, but there's emotion, there's so
Wow.
much more than just action.
I think it said he want to be praying on his first time.
I used to be very Christian. I was homeschooled.
Girls save.
Homeschooled. My dad's a professional evangelical
Oh,
debater.
wow.
Has a radio
Like
show.
an
He said I wouldn't
apologist?
say he
Yes.
cared.
He's a Christian apologist. Yeah, I was raised, no kissing.
Yeah, I wouldn't
don't
say
hold
he cared
hands.
either.
I was like, till marriage, like absolutely. But there was a sense
ain't
of
gonna
like
lie.
this sexual act is really elevated. Like a lot of it, from my frame, is that we're like sort of participating in a social ritual where we all
he
like,
did
give
care,
this act like a huge amount of power.
I'm pretty sure
which
he's
is, like,
not gonna
my
hold it
deal,
against
but
you.
I really resonate with like the strength that can hold.
So I also grew up Catholic and, grew up in my Catholic shame bubble. I would masturbate and then cry myself to sleep and be like, God hates me and I'm going to hell. I don't know,
What
man.
the
I just kind of
fuck?
opened my eyes to the world and was like, you know what? People are out here raping. They're out here murdering. They're out here doing some crazy ass shit. And this world is fucking awful.
It's
I
doing
don't
crazy
think
shit.
God is down, looking down on the world and seeing all that and going, God damn it,
I don't
Avery's
know,
sucking
bro.
a dick again, like another check, like she's gone. I'm like, no.
Are you at all worried
That bitch is crazy for sure.
by creating porn and all that stuff is feeding into a very real
Ain't no
addiction
way.
that a lot of men suffer with?
So
Most men
the difference
don't
there
want
is
it.
with like the mainstream porn that I do, yeah, it can be hella skeezy. They give you skeezy, storylines and stepmom this and step this, and it gets real skeezy, But then when you take it to the other side of the porn, I can put out the product that I want to. I can help educate people. I can put out ethical porn because I'm making
What
it.
is educate? I guess.
My name is Avery.
I'm
I
so
am
confused.
27 years old, and I am a sex worker. It's weird because I grew up super, super religious and, used to give chastity talks at church and chastise my friends for being sexual. But
Educate,
I actually
bro,
find
like-
that I'm not as bitter towards
What do you
my
mean
religion
by that?
anymore since
How
I
can
started this work. because
prod?
somehow it's
How can it
kind of
educate?
reconnecting me to it in a way. Just
They be
seeing that
making it seem
and
like
hearing from
motherfucking
people that I'm
sexist
putting good out
motherfucking
into the world and I'm making
something
the world
that
a better
is
place and I'm
unknown
making
to
people
humans
feel
or
joy
something.
and
Something that you
happiness.
gotta really go out there
I've
and
had trouble in romantic relationships.
like, what they
My
just
fiance
say?
does not.
What was the
I've
question?
had trouble in romantic relationships.
Oh. Thought everybody do.
My fiance does not do sex work. She's only slept with I think 13 people, right? Which to me that's.
He's like, that's so little. For me, that's a lot.
I mean, before I got into the industry, I was over 100 something. So it's crazy.
Damn.
It's always a very strange thing trying to keep this
What the
relationship going.
fuck?
So it's a crazy number to me. It's all.
I mean, that's a
I mean,
lot.
before I got into the industry, I was over 100 something. So it's a crazy number to me. It's always a very strange thing trying to keep this relationship going in the sense
Wow.
of like what I do because. Even it's just their ego. and
She's-
she has to
she's
see
a-
me with
she's a-
younger women
she's
all
a
the
dumb
time, and
woman.
it sometimes hurts her, But it's like just a lot of communication.
She's
For
a dumb
me,
woman.
I am currently in a relationship, and
Her ass
the
at
guy I'm
13
dating
and you
is
at 140
actually not a
something?
Christian. So I had.
And
to
that
have
number finna just
conversation
keep
with
going.
him beforehand, like that because of my religious beliefs. I'm not going to have sex.
Boy,
until
oh
marriage.
boy.
He's not only honored it, but he supported it. But it does make it difficult because it's like I want to make him happy. He wants to make me happy, and that struggle of like I guess fighting against our flesh is going to be a little harder. I don't want anyone to see my naked body until they're my
Oh,
husband.
he hasn't even seen you naked.
No.
Oh, really? Wow.
He said, "Oh, really?
Sorry,
Wow."
being naked is just such I just walk around naked. It doesn't. How long have you guys been dating?
It's been a few months.
You're like
Yeah,
3, 4?
literally,
Good for you, girl. You
literally.
got on lock.
A lot of people think that we are
Talking about
anti-sex
marriage.
or not sex positive. I don't think that's true
That
at
is
all.
just crazy.
I know that I'm a very sexual person. I cannot wait to explore that sexual side of myself with my husband. But that is something that I want to restrict to just.
I think it go
one
marry
person,
you just to
and that's
divorce
how I
your
want to
ass.
explore that
Man,
sexual side.
cheat like fuck.
I'm just happy to be
Nigga ain't finna be waiting.
I
That
don't
nigga
have
out while
an
she here,
issue because with my
he
religion,
out there
it's
getting
kind of
pussy.
got
She don't even know it.
what I do or my self-control stuff like
Trying to be in a relationship and you bullshit.
that. Huh? It's hot.
Literally,
Question,
right
have
now.
you had
He damn near done knocked 3 different bitches while she been here.
Christian come after you because they know you're a virgin. They're trying to steal that card.
Yeah.
And how hard do they push?
It's pretty hard.
I think it's pretty hard.
I've never been in a circumstance where I had somebody I wanted to date who did not want to date me because of my job, ever.
Really?
Ever. Because the kind of filters I have in place, like by the time we get to the point where I want to date them, like if they've passed all the other criteria that I have, by that point, all of them are just totally fine with sex work. I don't
They're
like people who
stupid,
are
too.
possessive at all. I'm very polyamorous. In the
Yeah.
normal world, is that people don't date each other because of sex work, but that's just not the reality I live in.
See,
at
that's
all.
my reality. I have a hard time with romantic relationships because, well, I'm a sex worker, and not only am I a sex worker, but outside of work, I self-identify as a whore. Like, I just like to have sex, and I like to experience as many people as possible.
These
And
niggas
when I
grown,
do
bro.
find
He
someone
tell
that I'm
us
interested
he
in
tell
for
us his
romantic
age yet. It's
relationships,
probably coming
that's
up.
the package deal. You know, I tell
But
them,
all
like,
they asses
look, I want to be with
over
you, and I want to be in
25.
a relationship with you, and I care about you a lot. But I also need to be a slut and have sex with people who aren't you sometimes. I've tried dating, like, other...
Bro, what? Oh god, I didn't hear that correctly.
many people as possible. And when I do find someone that I'm interested in for romantic relationships, that's the package deal. You know, I tell them, like, look, I want to be with you, and I want to be in a relationship with you, and I care about you a lot. But I also need to be a slut and have sex with people who aren't you sometimes. I've tried dating, like, other porn performers.
She lucky I can't come through this screen. Cause y'all ain't talking to her. Y'all should have cut her off in that sentence right there. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And, you know, even that gets murky because even with our jobs, jealousy is still a thing. So, you know, I'll be dating a porn star who knows that I'm a porn star, and then they hit me with the, hey, babe, I think, like, maybe you should just start doing, like, content with girls. Yeah, just do girl, and, like, maybe threesomes with me and other girls, and, like, that's it, and change your branding. And I'm like, so you started this romantic relationship with me knowing exactly what the f is down, like, who I am, what
Literally,
I do, what I'm
20
about.
cats. Fuck
And
yeah.
you thought
That bitch
that,
finna
oh,
have
just,
20
like, wait a few
cats.
months and then I can, like, change. You're like, okay, great.
Can't believe she just said some stupid shit
enjoy
like that.
masturbation.
Y'all is too old.
Hey, girl.
Do you feel guilty?
Now she enjoy. Now if she tell me that this motherfucking lady tell me that she enjoy masturbation and all this bullshit. Wasn't she the one that brought up fucking God or some shit? What's going on? You can't do that. That's part of it. You can't do that. You can't. That's part of it.
I think in the beginning, because I didn't know what I was doing and like what I felt about it, the problem is like the Bible doesn't say anything about masturbation. So you're always like, this is the world of gray. And then
But religion says something about masturbation.
Exactly.
So,
Are you
like,
dumb?
does your religion say anything about masturbation? Nothing?
it's more about like generalized sexual immorality. So I didn't feel like masturbation was immoral of me.
And this is where it comes to selective politicking. Because you can sit here and say all this bullshit about, oh, they didn't say nothing about masturbation. Ma'am, that's part of it. You're not supposed to do that. That was part of the religion. You know what the Bible motherfucking religion is. That was part of it.
Like I felt like, oh, this is just me getting to know my body and what I like, and then
She's
hopefully pass it
selecting
along
what she
to the
want to
guy.
consider the rules.
I remember when I was Christian and I was trying to figure out if I should masturbate. I would like consult the Bible quite a lot. I would like Google, you know, like, is it okay to masturbate for women? And there was no resources for women at all. It was like men have to control their lusts. And I felt like a crazy pervert because I'm like, oh, I have all these urges that women apparently don't have.
Know your
I ended
body.
up deciding that, okay, lust is a sin, but the masturbation itself isn't. So that if I engaged in the physical act without like having any sort of mental process going on, then that would be okay by God.
I'm surprised that you.
Oh, I got answers. I got answers for you.
These
One of the
people
things
is
is
crazy.
because I have to save my load to use at work, which is a little graphic, but that's really what it is. So one of the things I have to do, because I'm doing 2 scenes a day, so
Like,
I
so
can't
ain't nobody hitting
jerk
that.
off. I can barely have sex with my fiance most of the time because I'm doing the job. I'd much rather take that time, go give pleasure to someone else, and actually see that look on someone's face that I gave them an experience
I would totally disagree with the idea that masturbation isn't sin. I feel like there's something that happens. I don't know, like it's just so hard to explain.
I'm
It's
curious.
just so.
I want to ask, like, what is it like to you
yeah,
about
that's crazy.
touching your own body?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
and you know,
because
making yourself
definitely.
feel that.
He
type
said,
of
"Fuck
pleasure?
all that." He ain't beating
What makes
this
that a
shit.
sin?
But it's like with me, I just see that God is so high and mighty that, like, the reason why maybe I keep on messing up, because there's moments of I'm sexting, I'm doing things, and you're like, what? How would you do that? But the thing is, it's like,
Temptation happens.
yeah, I mean, and the thing is understanding that, like, I'm not God, but also understanding that, like, I want to be more Christ-like. Yeah, progress in my
Do you
faith.
masturbate?
Yes, I have, yes.
Do you do it regularly?
There's moments where it's probably once a month.
Oh.
What do you guys do when you feel those impure thoughts and you think about
What,
it
bro?
and you want to masturbate because that's your direct correlation to what you're doing?
I call a friend and kind of like, because the thing is
You got
like,
a friend like that?
Do you tell your friends why you're calling them, or do you just call for distraction?
I call, well, it's calling, kind of be like, hey, this is happening right now. I need some prayer because this could get bad. This could be bad because it's like it's really unhealthy. It's very unhealthy of me.
And if you're in a good church community, you have prayer warriors, and that helps immensely, no matter what you may be struggling with.
Being a virgin
Yeah.
has shaped me
he finna
in
say
a
his
way
age. Hold on.
of separating myself from the rest of the pack.
I'm
So
all-
I stopped watching porn based off of a flick that I watched. That just made me just stop completely. I like intimacy, and I've realized that porn doesn't give me the intimacy that
How old
know,
is you,
I'm searching
nigga?
for.
He didn't even
The
say his
sex
age.
industry is sexist.
didn't even say his
The sex
age.
divide is a
I
way
know his
different
ass
in
old.
our industry. Women get paid a lot more.
It's actually the sex industry is I think it's one of like two industries in the world where women make more than men.
Yeah.
Everyone's objectified, kind of, because the men y'all are reduced to your penises.
Oh, yeah.
No, you aren't. But I know so many people who
I think
recognize
say he
penis.
ain't doing
we have to
nothing.
cater to these fantasies for fans.
His ass
and
damn
there
near
are
ain't even
sadly
doing
a lot
that.
of, it's a broad reflection of how
This
the world
nigga is
is.
just out
and
there.
out in the broad world,
She pissed.
there's a lot
He
of men
just
who
out
want
there
to see
wasting
women get
time.
beat and had sex with brutally and just brutally taken, and
And
that's what they
that's
want.
where I'm thinking the sex industry is sexist,
Whoa.
because women in general and the different
Nigga just
aspects of the
living
sex industry, I feel like are viewed as less than.
They are. And for me, the one turnaround of it though is where we take our power back. We enjoy, filling out those fantasies and those role plays to take power over it. The other night, I was having sex with a man, and he's having sex with me, and he puts his foot on my face and is stepping on me while he's having sex with me. And you see your face. My face, I was in heaven. I was there trying to lick his
Oh
feet,
my
and I was
God.
just this is hot to me because I get to explore this in a safe manner
Bro,
that is
what?
controlled by me.
That is a
Like,
stranger.
of course, porn is designed for men. It's not because we don't like women. It's because men are visually stimulated and way more likely to spend money on porn. This doesn't feel like an
That
issue
bitch
to
is
me.
crazy.
This feels just
I
like
knew
the
she was
natural
crazy. Just look at her hair.
way that we are. I remember when I had my very
Bitch
first
got her
escort
side
session where I had
shaved with
sex with
fucking.
my first man for money.
What, she got a mohawk?
Going into it, I was super
Go back
nervous
to the other
because I'm
bitch.
I had this background feeling that I was gonna feel gross or violated or exploited
bitch
in
got
some
some
way, a
crazy
little bit
style.
of a fear.
You know
And then I
that's a
remember
crazy
I went through
bitch.
the session and I left, and I was walking down the street with a couple $1,000s in my pocket because I charged very high rates, and I was like, who exploited who here? I feel incredible, and I remember feeling
Respect.
I remember feeling angry at society. I was like,
Wait, you think you think you're superior because you got some money? Hold on.
feet that I was gonna feel gross. I had my very first escort session where I had sex with my first man for money. Going into it, I was super nervous because I had this background feeling that I was gonna feel gross or violated or exploited in some way, a little bit of a fear. And then I remember I went through the session and I left, and I was walking down the street with a couple $1,000s in my pocket because I charged very high rates, and I was like, who exploited who here?
Do y'all see? Niggas, that's why y'all gotta stop buying that bullshit. This bitch thinks she exploited you. This is scary. This is crazy. You done paid her. Now she done thinks she exploited you. She done felt like she got more power just from that. After her first session, she done gained the power that she feel as though she's exploiting all you niggas out here now. All you escort sessions, she feel as though she exploited y'all.
I feel incredible, and I remember feeling
Respect.
I remember feeling like angry at society. I was like, why did they tell me this would feel bad? I feel so good. And it's like, at that point, it's like, I don't know, when we talk about like sexism in the industry, you could very easily argue it goes the opposite way. I grew up in a very conservative culture that expected
We can tell. Well, I can just tell you would be think like look at the drip. Look at the curtain on her pants. I mean the curtain on her legs. Look at them motherfucking slippers. The I don't even know what these is. The slippers to swim in? Like, what are those? I don't even get it. And then you got this. A kimono? I guess it's a kimono. Then you got whatever this is under it. Like, nothing here is good. Nothing here even matches. I could just tell she just born in a motherfucking, what she called it?
Easily argue it goes the opposite way. I grew up in a very conservative culture that expected me to become a housewife.
I could just
but it turned out to be that
I could just tell you was in one of
was
those.
a sex worker instead. I got to like escape that sort of
Oh
life where I
God,
was
the
working
fucking grudge.
minimum wage jobs with not a lot of prospects.
Fucking
My family's not
grudge,
supportive
literally.
of my professional choices. I'm definitely performing an immoral action in their eyes. I am degrading myself and my sexuality in their eyes. I associate it very strongly with freedom, like being able to have access to a lot of different choices
If
to
this
make
is
a lot
y'all
of money
freedom-
that I never would have.
If this is y'all freedom, hey, this is crazy. You sex workers, man, if y'all freedom is just having sex, like that's not nothing that you can do. You can do that already with freedom. So I mean, if that's your freedom, I must be in a different world.
I've had the opportunity to have before.
All sex work should be legalized in America.
From all the statistics I know of, like, let's say Australia, and this is from just the knowledge I've learned from that, apparently sex work has actually decriminalized a lot of places. So if you legalize all sex work, you kind of take away that human want in making it so it's just available if you want it.
Bro, you talking about, hey, niggas talking about, well, fucking, it stopped motherfucking criminalization.
And also,
Right.
if you make it available, just like prostitution, making that available, you have to make people go through screening. You have to make people get tested. So everyone's going to STDs might even go down.
Yes, bro.
There's a difference between decriminalizing sex work and legalizing it. Legalizing it means obviously the government is going to be into it. They're going to be able to set up health regulations, which can definitely help sex workers. Decriminalizing it just means that you as a sex worker cannot be arrested for what you do. I personally don't believe that legalizing it is beneficial because even in those countries where it is legalized, it correlates to higher rates of sex trafficking. I know I'm not. Yes. And I would have thought.
Countries with legalized prostitution are associated with higher human trafficking inflows than country where prostitution is prohibited. And that wasn't from Wikipedia. The first one was from Wikipedia. The shit he wanted to talk about. Niggas ain't listening to Wiki. Nigga. Hartford Law and International Development Society.
I would have thought that it wouldn't have been that way because otherwise I would have agreed with you. I would have said yes, it should be legalized because then we can have.
Shit, I don't know why y'all thought it'd be like lesser. That's y'all making the sex trafficking niggas who do that shit easier if y'all motherfucking make the prostitution legal. I don't know why y'all would think, oh, it's gonna make it go down. No, it's not gonna make it go down. It's gonna make it go up. Now y'all are legally on the street and they don't gotta hide when they're snatching you up. They're just snatching y'all ass. Like, come on.
regulations in place to make
man.
it safer for sex workers.
Let's see, if you had a governmental body going through, just like if you went to a restaurant, there's an A on the door saying like food handlers, right? Then it would be, this is a building that is regulated. We have people coming through to make sure everyone coming through gets tested this many times, and you coming in, you have to be tested the day before to actually get checked in.
I guess that assumption is based on if everyone who is in sex work would go the legal route, because not everyone would. When there's government
Exactly.
involvement, what does that mean? Taxes. Not everyone wants to have taxes. That's why in New Zealand it's decriminalized, but there are no regulations to keep anyone in that whole situation safe.
I was just on the disagree side because I don't think it should be legalized. I think it should be decriminalized. I don't want the government anywhere near sex work. I don't want the government controlling it, taxing it, making it to where they legalize it, but they're still going to put loopholes around that puts us in even more danger. I also think sex work should be decriminalized because as long as it's criminalized, we're at the mercy of the cops, and the cops are the biggest threat to female sex workers specifically. Almost every female sex worker I know who's had an encounter with the cops has been raped by the cops.
Sex is
Wow. Well, damn.
the ultimate form of intimacy.
That is just crazy. That is. I knew I hated them goddamn pigs. I knew I hated them. But damn, you mean to tell me these cops is out here taking these bitches to jail and doing that? Yeah. Wow.
Whenever I do have sex that first time, I just don't want anyone else other than my husband to ever see me in that vulnerable state. It's too precious to me, and how can you get more, at least physically intimate than that? You can get more emotionally intimate, I'm sure, but
Yeah, that intimacy with someone else. And it's crazy because we're waiting for that, you know? We're waiting for that and wondering what that's going to be like.
emotionally intimate. How can you get more see me in that first time?
Sex is the ultimate form of intimacy.
Sex is the over. Oh, you've seen it.
Whenever I do have sex that first time, I just don't want anyone else other than my husband to ever see me in that vulnerable state. It's too precious to me, and how can you get more, at least physically intimate than that? You can get more emotionally intimate, I'm sure, but
Yeah, that intimacy with someone else. And it's crazy because we're waiting for that, you know? We're waiting for that and wondering what that's going to be like.
Damn.
As a nurse, I've seen, 94-year-olds in the hospital, and just like the intimate relationship that they've had with their spouse still carries forward. Like, people who are quadriplegic, people who no longer can speak, who are more nonverbal, just seeing the dedication day after day, like their visitors, their family members coming in. It's just really nice to see that you can have a circle of different types of intimacy with companionship and the trusting relationship and the physical part of it.
Her ass
Intimacy
is
is
terrible.
moments.
She's speaking
moments
though.
in time, moments between people. I've had intimate moments, like I had an intimate moment with you today. Now, was it the most intimate thing I've ever done? No. So I think those moments where you're there with someone willing to die for that person is way more intimate than anything we can find sexually, because sex is something that's going to happen when you guys start having sex and start being in there with your partner. It's like you want that to last forever. You want that moment, but it's not the thing you would die for. God, you would die for God. That's an intimate thing. That sexual moment is not. You would die for her for other reasons, not for sex.
This is edge looking ass on God. Yeah, he just spoke it there. Yeah, because I was so like, I don't think it's the ultimate form.
Bye!
Definitely didn't think it was the ultimate form, but hey, we heard they motherfucking perspectives. They all had some valid points and they all had some bad points. So that does it for that.